So how do you create an income plan for a time when you will not have a standard income? That is life when you enter that golden period of retirement. And while you may not receive a bi-weekly paycheck, you obviously have to have a plan for the money you've been saving for years and years and years and years. So here to help us out, we have our good friend Corey Sickles, president of Safe Harbor Retirement Group and the sponsor of this segment. Hi, Corey.
Hi, Robin. How are you?
I'm good. You know, Corey, that is literally one of the very first things you probably talk to people about, right, when they come in is, do you have a plan yet, right, for
That's
retirement?
Correct. That is correct. I mean, one of the hardest things to do is to actually create an income plan, because everyone's a little bit nervous. You know, can I retire? When can I retire? You know, what is my monthly budget? You know, and the other part that you have to also keep track of is inflation, right? We're really experiencing that this year, but most income plans that we build, you know, if you have $50,000 today, you know, it does need to increase over time. And that's if you don't do it the right way, where you can really have problems with running out of money, which is what I think everyone's really terrified about.
Yeah, and the thing about having an income plan, as you mentioned, it may sound easy, right? Like, oh, a plan for my money, but there's so many little intricacies, so much to consider, like you're talking about, right? From inflation to all kinds of changes and what ifs.
Budget, you know, at some point in time, hopefully you can get in a position where you don't have a mortgage. You also want to be able to make sure that you have some cushion. Emergencies, you know, do take place. You know, whether your air conditioner goes out or your heater goes out. And of course, the big one that you also have to kind of plan for, because it can really derail an income plan, and that's health care. If one of you, or you know, if you or your spouse would eventually go into some type of assisted living, you know, how are you going to be able to pay for that? And what's it going to do for the other spouse? You know, after that, you know, if you do pass eventually, what's that going to do for that other spouse as well from an income standpoint?
And Corey, it may seem daunting then for somebody to sit back and say, okay, what do I do then? How do I, you know, weigh all of these things? So when you sit down with somebody, where do you start when it comes to an income plan?
Well, you know, the first thing we really have to kind of do is get a good idea of what that monthly budget is. Because at the end of the day, you don't care, you know, whether the stock market's up or whether it's down. You still need to be able to have enough money in order to pay that monthly expenses, because like you said at the beginning, the paycheck stopped.
Right.
So it's going to be your sole security, and hopefully you've done a good job saving. And then, you know, inflation does factor into it. Healthcare costs go into that. But, you know, when you work with an advisor, we're going to take all those things into an account when we start, you know, developing your financial or income plan.
We talk about that golden number, and it's different for everyone, which you've said before. But so how is it that you figure out, right, how much couple A, couple B, how much they need to retire?
Well, everyone's situation's different, right? But at the end of the day, everyone has a monthly budget. You know, whether it's $4,000 a month or $7,000 a month, and then what we really have to do is then take into account, you know, your Social Security or your pension, any other, and then we have to look at all your, you know, investment accounts. And one of the things that we really want to be able to do as well is to be able to look at the, you know, how we're going to invest those money or invest that funds for you, because you want to be the most efficient that you possibly can. So there's a lot of products and tools that we can look at that can help you, you know, put you in a situation where you're not going to run out of money.
And you, you know, you talk about whether you need $4,000 or $7,000 in a month too. I know that we have talked about people always thinking they are not going to need as much in retirement, and that's kind of this, you know, myth about it, because that's when you have the luxury of time.
That's correct. So if you really look at it, you know, a lot of articles, or, you know, if you go out and read, they're going to say that you need somewhere between 70-80% of the income that you make today in retirement. And the other, you know, the other side of that is, odds are, I hear this all the time too, is I'm going to be in a different tax bracket, right? And in most cases you're going to be in the same tax bracket, you know, where you're working now that you're in retirement, which not only means that we want to be able to provide income, we want to be efficient with that income we're generating, but more importantly too, now we also want to be able to take, you know, taxes into consideration as well, because if we can put you in a situation where you can get more tax-free money, you're going to be in a better situation, because as odds are, as we kind of go through the next 10, 20 years, taxes are probably going to go up.
Right, absolutely. You want to be in the best possible position for that. And a lot of times, you want the same lifestyle as you had when you were working when you're retired. So all of that goes into this complimentary consultation Corey will give, obviously, to anybody who reaches out. SafeHarborOH.com is the website. Corey, thank you.
Thank you, Robin.